This individual project will give a broad perspective of role of a principal at international private school. Firstly, this paper will summarize the main differences in private and public school. Secondly, it evaluates the relationship between principal staff, principal students, and principal parents. Finally, this paper will conclude what was written. First question is, what are the main differences in private and public schools? When we compare these two different types of schools, we will see that private schools are funded by parents through tuition, grants, donations, and endowments. However, public schools are reliant on federal, state, and local tax dollars. Another difference is teachers in public schools must have teaching certificate, but teachers in private schools don't have to get teaching certificate. Private schools are generally multicultural places due to different students from all around the world, and this property gives students getting new experience and extraordinary broad perspective in their academic life. In the third slide, we will focus on the relationship between principal and staff in the aspect of job satisfaction. Although teachers in private schools may not be required to have certificate, they often have subject area expertise. As a principal of private school, he aims to have dedicated, skilled, and enthusiastic teachers who instill in students the passion for learning and self-motivation which will lead them to achieve excellence in all their future endeavors. Teachers are main characters in private schools because of one of the most important features is counseling. Every teacher has a group of students to observe their academic progression. Moreover, teachers plan managing activities for students to improve their knowledge and make connection between real life and the things what they have learned. So, to keep these interactions between students and teachers, principal should demonstrate his enthusiasm to teachers. In another word, to increase the number of students enrollment, the principal must first focus on the job satisfaction. We can divide the job satisfaction into two groups: global perspective and the facets approach. We can count these elements as a salary, matching the job description, and health concerns and the security. In the fourth slide, we will focus on the relationship between principal and students. In this relationship, we can notice the ethics as an organizational behavior. Principal especially has the ethical responsibility to never harass or discriminate against a student in any area: gender, race, culture, age, sexual orientation, disability, and intellectual ability. The principal must be honest, fair, loyal, and committed to excellence and decency. In advising, there are three dialectic ethical tensions that principal needs to be aware of. The first is neutral versus perspective. Neutral principal is reluctant to make recommendations or tell a student what to do. Perspective principal gives his opinions freely and sometimes uses his position of authority to make it happen. The second tension is encouraging versus discouraging. Encouraging principals are optimistic and only want to give the advisee positive messages. The third tension is judgmental versus non-judgmental. This is not a way of advising but a basic attitude held by the principal. Ethical decisions should be guided by an advisor's core values of honesty and integrity, respect and fairness, responsibility and the pursuit of excellence. Putting oneself in in the other person's situation is the critical when making decisions. In the last slide, we will examine the relationship between principal and parents. A private school benefits families by offering a wide range of educational options and schools that provide intensive academic experiences. Furthermore, all parents also want their children have moral education. In the private school environment, students acquire the values and behaviors like honesty, honor, respect, authenticity, and social responsibility from adult role through an understanding of the principle of academic integrity. So, the principles should emphasize the integrity to parents. Integrity can be divided into two categories: community involvement and moral responsibility. Community involvement will teach students to understand the real world and the value of making positive contributions to society on all levels through volunteerism and education. Moral responsibility helps students develop a sense of judgment that will enable them to use their knowledge and power to oppose suffering and to benefit all of humanity. In conclusion, educating the people is the most challenging work in the life. While educating people is a principle, dealing with staff, students, and parents needs using right and effective organizational communication and behavior.